Hello and welcome to Weekend File on the NTA. We are live in Abuja. Fuel and gas tank explosions have been a common instance of transport mishap in Nigeria. The incidences and prevalence of these occurrences in the country have been alarming over the years. Fuel and gas tank explosion disaster constitutes a veritable threat to road safety as well as human security in view of its destructive impacts and complications. In the outgoing week alone, 2 major occurrences of fuel and gas tank explosions were recorded in Kogi and Lagos State, both resulting to loss of lives and property. According to President Muhammadu Buhari, such mishaps represent another disturbing and saddening incident in the litany of tragedies that have befallen our country. These frequent incidents are a national scandal caused by a nonchalant attitude of Nigerians to safety standards. Are these disasters preventable? What is the way forward to avert future occurrences? That, of course, is our poser tonight on Weekend File as we x-ray tanker explosion disasters in Nigeria, precautions and safety. Of course, we have reports from across the zones, plus a guest, the Corps Marshal, Federal Road Safety Corps, Boboye Oyemi. I am Kenden Imba Abodike. Now the news. In a determined effort to offer Nigerians an effective option to petrol, the federal government will focus on developing compressed natural gas, otherwise known as autogas, which is priced significantly lower than PMS. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo stated this during a virtual interactive session hosted by the Africa Report magazine. Answering questions regarding the removal of petrol subsidy, the Vice President said the country has experienced a severe downturn in its finances over the years, and at 60% less revenue, sustaining fuel subsidies is practically impossible. Under the Nigerian Economic Sustainability Plan, the federal government's objective is to promote domestic use of compressed natural gas and support the creation of 1 million jobs on increment in taxes. The Vice President noted that the administration has no plans of increasing taxes, stating that this is hardly the time to raise taxes. Addressing concerns raised about electricity tariffs, the Vice President said the era of subsidizing petrol and electricity was over, noting that government has adopted measures of addressing the situation. Laolu Akonde, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity in the Office of the Vice President, in a release, stated that the Vice President added that the overall target of government in the Economic Sustainability Plan is to save existing jobs and revamp businesses by improving the spending capability of Nigerians through the various initiatives in industry, agriculture, mass housing, and the solar connectivity projects. Now, the federal government has again reassured Nigerians that a full deregulation of the petroleum sector and the service-based electricity tariff adjustment will, in the long run, benefit the ordinary citizen. The reassurance was the high point of an interactive session by the Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed and online publishers in Lagos. Anthony Forson tells us more.
The truth is that the government can no longer afford the cost of subsidy.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed explaining to the online publishers the federal government's reason for the price hike on fuel. The minister said, under the prevailing circumstance, the federal government cannot sustain the payment of subsidy, having spent over 10 trillion naira to subsidize the product between 2006 and 2019.
The drastic fall in the revenues of the government explains why the government had to take certain tough decisions, even as it is acting to mitigate the effect of the economic slowdown by adopting an economic sustainability plan.
Lai Mohammed maintained that Nigeria is striving to ensure that alternatives to PMS is available and at more cheaper rate. Worthy of note is the coming on stream of modular refineries in the country, which will help lower the cost of petroleum products. However, he pointed out that despite the deregulation, PMS is still cheaper in Nigeria than neighboring countries, and indeed the entire West and Central African sub-regions. On electricity tariff, the minister acknowledged that the privatization of the sector gave room for the increase, pointing out that the federal government cannot again continue to bear the burden of distribution companies after spending over 1.7 trillion naira by way of supplementing tariff shortfalls.
The government does not have the resources to continue along this path. To borrow just to subsidize generation and distribution, which are both privatized, would be grossly irresponsible.
He explained that tariff adjustment will be hinged on the capacity of the distribution company to guarantee a minimum of 12 hours of electricity, while estimated billing is under watch with strict instructions for mass metering. There are plans also by the federal government to provide 5 million Nigerian households with solar power in the next 12 months, a project that will create 250,000 jobs and will impact 25 million beneficiaries. Here again, he noted that Nigeria's electricity cost in naira is by far the cheapest when compared to other African countries. In Lagos, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Let's go to security matters now, where troops of Operation Wellstroke have rescued 2 kidnapped victims and eliminated 3 kidnappers during raid on a suspected kidnappers camp along Bakonu Road, Nasarawa local government area of Nasarawa State. A statement by the coordinator of Defense Media Operations, Major General John Enenche, indicates that troops acting on intelligence on possible regrouping of elements linked to a notorious criminal, late Ghana, also raided a hideout in Kwagondo village in Chanchanji Takum, Taraba State. Major General Enenche knows that 2 bandits were killed during a gun battle at the hideout and arms recovered. Borno State Police Command reports of an attack on security convoy along Mongono Cross Kawa Road around 12 p.m. Friday night. The security convoy heading to Baga in respect of government's efforts to relocate returnees of Baga displaced communities was attacked few kilometers away from Cross Kawa. Casualties recorded on both sides include 8 policemen and 3 members of Civilian Joint Task Force who paid the supreme price. 13 other persons sustained various degrees of injuries and were rushed to hospital for treatment. President Muhammadu Buhari has condemned the ambush on the entourage of Governor Babagana Zulum of Borno State, which led to the death of security men and operatives of civilian JTF. The president described the attack on Maiduguri-Baga route as an orchestrated sabotage against the long-planned return of displaced persons to their local communities. He noted that with deep sympathy, the loss of lives and security men of the convoy ahead of the return of internally displaced persons and commiserated with their families and loved ones. The president advised the government of Borno State, working with security and intelligence agencies, to remain firm in their determination to restore normalcy to all communities liberated from the Boko Haram terrorists. The president commended the gallantry of the service personnel who repelled the deadly ambush, as well the sincere determination of Governor Zulum, who has been working with the armed forces to end the menace of terrorists, rebuild homes, and return IDPs to regular life. He prays that God will grant the souls of the departed, security men and operatives of civilian JTF eternal rest and comfort their families. Still on security matters, the Air Task Force of Operation Lafayette Dole in its latest attacks recorded massive destruction of Boko Haram terrorist camps and neutralizes scores at Tongole on 24 September and daytime raids at Bonny and Isari B. Musa on 25 September 2020. The strike on Tongole was undertaken after surveillance missions revealed continued assembly of the terrorists within the settlement at night time. The Air Task Force dispatched Nigerian Air Force NAF helicopter gunships for a night attack on the location with their barrage of rockets, neutralizing several of the terrorists. In Bonny, a settlement along the Yale-Kumshe axis on the attack. On the other hand, was attacked by a force package of NAV fighter jets and helicopter gunships. The NAV attack aircraft engaged the location in multiple bomb and rocket runs, destroying several of their structures and neutralizing scores of terrorists. Similarly, at Esare B. Musa, several terrorists who were observed both within and in bushes surrounding the settlement were taken out as the NAV attack aircraft took turns in engaging the target area. Now, Chinese illegal gold mining company in Kutasa community of the FCT has been sealed off by the National Environmental Standards and Regulations Environment Agency (NESRIA) for non-compliance with environmental regulations. Here is Mia Ogidi with the report.
Journey to the assignment venue was more stressful than the assignment. Finally, we are at the venue. But how heavy-duty machines were taken through this near-impassable road to the mining site is what my brain is still working on. Only one stream flows through Kutasa village, but the mercury and lead poison from the mining site contaminate the water.
This is how the water used to do us. Okay. Yeah. Wow. So that is why we stop people drinking the water.
A borehole is provided, but it is just mere cosmetics.
Two of them are not working.
The Chinese were not on site, but two Nigerians on ground, and they came to the defense.
As soon as you guys go, we'll break here.
The team was not deterred, so the facility sealed off. Few minutes of the team's departure, the seals destroyed, but the villagers informed the team, so a U-turn was made, and the resistant staff arrested to be a guest in the police cell.
Going to prosecute them because they will be prosecuted for destroying government property.
For NESRA, such exercises will be on routine basis. Mia Ogede, NTA News.
The Federal Road Safety Corps is harmonizing the database of all vehicle license holders for an integrated and seamless revenue generation regime in the country. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that this came to the fore during a one-day workshop for sector heads of drivers' license centers across the country.
Is the first time an initiative is being developed under the administration of driver's license to integrate data of license holders as part of measures to curb sharp practices. In achieving the new mandate, the Corps is leveraging on its 37 driver's license centers and 270 workstations, including mobile stations across the country.
The database remains reliable in storage and of information concerning driver's license holders in the country. As a matter of fact, it also offers support to the different agencies who desire to keep tab on the identity of holders, including the diplomatic community.
The Corps is also enhancing the knowledge of officers in collaboration with critical agencies in the administration of tax in the country to carry out enforcement in line with the new normal occasioned by COVID-19.
In line with the direction of the government to guard against practices that are inimical to sustainers. This workshop is with the purpose of bringing the situation to those of you who are in the driving seat of the scheme and who can make the difference.
Corps Marshal Boboyo AME says the Corps will strive to address issues related to articulated vehicles on highways with immediate measures of accumulating data of its numbers. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Now, goods comprising electronic and electrical products estimated at billions of naira have gone up in flames. The popular electrical plaza along Murtala Mohammed Way, Lokoja, which was razed last night, is suspected to have been caused by a power surge. Ajibola Christopher reports.
This is somebody's lifetime.
Nobody could give account of exactly what led to the inferno, as all efforts to get eyewitness to speak on the fire was reversed, apparently because of the magnitude of the incident. Meanwhile, hundreds of sympathizers within Lokoja metropolis are trooping the scene to catch the glimpse of the unfortunate incident that engulfed P-Link, which is said to be the biggest electronic stores in Lokoja.
It was very painful. We feel for him. At least it's a very disastrous something.
It's unfortunate that this building has been haunted by fire. And if we have a functional fire services, this building will not be raised down.
Why is it that every time when something happens, nobody to rescue? Nobody to rescue. Why? We need to call on government to help us to do something about this.
We visited the fire service office just blocks away from the scene of the fire. An official speaking off camera said irate youth stormed the office to protest the inadequacy of the fire service to rise to the occasion. In Lokoja, Ajibola Christopher, NTA News.
Tanker explosion disasters, precautions and safety is our focus tonight, and our guest is the man at the helm of affairs at the Federal Road Safety Corps, Boboye Oyemi, and he is standing by for our conversation. But that is after this timeout and some reports from our correspondents. Don't go away.
At Elizade Autoland, we don't just sell quality, we build quality. JAC Motors, assembled in Nigeria by Elizade Autoland. High demand for fleets of JAC Motor brands by members of the public and private sectors. JAC Motors are clearly built with one purpose in mind. They are built to serve. Elizade Autoland, sole distributor of JAC Motors in Nigeria.
How hot is she?
Maybe a 7. How hot is he?
8.5.
Whoa, how hot is she?
Very hot.
Pick me, just pick me, baby. Come pick me, girl. Man, I'm all ready for you.
So tasty.
He's so lucky.
Stop being jealous, man.
Mini-Me, taste the fun.
Issa too like football on Top Go TV. So they him forget say him be best man for him party wedding. Amaka disappoint her bobo all because of football. Kola and the family supposed come out, but then gas change plans because for this new football season, Go TV get correct football action will make sense. Get Go TV decoder, we come with 1 month Go TV Max subscription for only 9,500 naira. Go TV, live it, love it.
The chairman, Interministerial Committee for the Celebration of Nigeria's 60th Independence Anniversary and Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, invites you to the following events. Sunday 27th, Interdenominational Church Service, National Christian Center, Abuja, time 3 p.m. Members of the public can join the church service virtually by logging on to the YouTube channel of the OSGF at Official OSGF NG. Monday 28th, launch of the National Ethics and Integrity Policy as well as Integrity Award by Mr. President to commemorate the 20th anniversary of ICPC. Venue, State House, Presidential Villa, Abuja, time 10 a.m. Historical Exhibition, National Press Center, Radio House, Abuja, 3 p.m. Thursday, October 1st, Guard of Honor, Anniversary Parade, Eagle Square, Abuja, time 10 a.m. Anniversary theme, Together. Please note, these events are strictly by invitation and all COVID-19 protocols will be adhered to. Chairman, Media and Publicity Subcommittee, Announcer.
NTA News 24. A 24-hour news station brings to you news and happenings 7 days a week.
News at 10 a.m.,
News update at 11 and 1 p.m.
News desk at 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. and late evening news at 11 p.m.
Follow us on any of our platforms and keep abreast of events and current affairs within and outside our shores.
We are on DSTV channel 419, GoTV channel 46,
Star Times channel 101 and Free TV channel 703. Join us.
Thank you for staying with us on Weekend File. The increasing number of tanker accidents in Lagos often leaves in its wake high degree of casualties and damage to public property. These concerns have led to several efforts by relevant authorities who are seeking to bring an end to this situation by enforcement of road traffic laws and prosecution of offenders. Dotun Ogunyemi tells us more.
On a daily basis, Lagos roads are busy with heavy vehicular movement within the metropolis as well as on its interstate routes. The safety of all motorists is their personal responsibility, as there are threats lurking. But these threats are further heightened in the case of articulated vehicles like tankers who carry flammable contents at the risk of explosion. In recent times, accidents caused by tankers have been on the increase and leading to loss of lives. The most recent case happened on the 19th of September at Antoni in Ward Bagada on the Apapa-Orunshoki Expressway.
No, I don't understand. You see this place, from Monday to Thursday, we won't see anything, but when it is Friday, Saturday, you must see accidents.
This is the inaction of the law enforcement agents.
The breakdown of road traffic crashes, according to the Federal Road Safety Corps in Lagos, between January and August, involving articulated vehicles, revealed that of the 448 cases, 28 have been caused by tankers.
It's not totally the bad road. The behavioral attitude of our drivers and the conduct of the terminal agencies in putting their vehicles in order are the cause of this problem.
The Corps is not just pointing accusing fingers, but by way of intervention has been conducting random breathalyzer tests on tanker drivers. However, the National Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers says its members are confronted by a myriad of factors which have been left unsolved to bring the issue of tanker accidents to a halt.
On the issue of the tanker driver operating under the influence of alcohol, well, I will not say you are right or you are wrong, but I want to tell you what is causing the tanker accident on our road is as a result of bad road, fatigue, and some other things.
The Federal Road Safety Corps has, however, established a series of collaborative efforts with relevant agencies in a bid to prevent such accidents from claiming more lives. In Lagos, Dotun Ogunyemi, NTA News.
Human errors have been identified to be the major causes of fuel tanker explosion in Niger State. Mukhtar Abubakar Wawo, who examined the phenomenon of fuel tanker explosion in the state, reports that from January to date, it claimed 6 lives, while property worth millions of naira were destroyed.
Statistics from disaster managers in Niger State indicate that from January to date, the state recorded 2 fuel tanker explosions, causing disaster in Kotigi Lavun local government and Lambata in Grara local government area of the state. 6 lives were lost, while 55 shops, 7 houses, 3 trucks, 5 motorcycles, among other valuables, were destroyed by the disaster, compared with 2018 and 2019, with the highest record of fatality, while 13 persons were injured.
Tanker explosion, fire incident, 7 in number. The number of lives lost, we have 15. As 2018, 2019.
Stakeholders in disaster management in the state identify negligence by the fuel tanker drivers as responsible for the disasters, which usually affect socio-economic activities in the affected areas and the nation at large.
Some of them as a result of speeding, due to negligence from the drivers, due to brake failure.
Like careless for the drivers. All this problem, no matter about route.
Experts in disaster management are of the opinion that the disasters are preventable.
Measures to avoid them, that is why His Excellency have directed all relevant agencies to liaise and coordinate and ensure these tankers doesn't park anyhow. Trailer parks should be open. Local government should take charge.
Mina Mukhtar Abubakaru, NTA News.
And recently, scores lost their lives along the Lokoja-Abuja road as a tanker conveying petrol exploded.
Pains and anguish as the skies were buried in flames within the airspace of Lokoja, Kogi State, while tears flow uncontrollably as about 25 persons died following the tanker explosion at the ever-busy Okene-Lokoja corridor, and it was on the 23rd of September 2020. It was exactly at Felele area of the state. The early morning traffic was tight. Those who were at the scene confirmed a minor accident was reported, which ignited the fire at the petrol-laden tanker. Pained by the disaster, President Muhammadu Buhari issued a condolence letter to the victims' families and the government of Kogi State. Less than 48 hours of that unfortunate incident, the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, is mobilized to site, and remedial work is on.
The main contractor that is working on this road has been directed to commence full rehabilitation of this section.
Beyond the sorry state of that portion of the road, patience on the part of the motorist is crucial, because impatience can make one a patient in the hospital. That is, if one is lucky. Mayor Ogidi, NTA News.
Join me as I welcome the Co-Marshal, Federal Road Safety Corps, Boboye Oyemi. Thank you for joining us live on Weekend File.
Good evening.
The tragedy at the Lokoja-Abuja road is still very fresh on our minds. In fact, President Buhari and indeed Nigerians are of the same opinion that it is one too many. Why are these incidences, or rather, these disasters, why are they becoming rampant nowadays?
Oh, thank you. I think I share with Mr. President's view. The Corps is also very worried, despite all the engagements with all the critical stakeholders from NUPENG PTD to NNPC to DPR. And is the pressure we are witnessing and the failure of the pipelines to really serve the purpose. And the critical issue we are battling with has to do with the age of these articulated vehicles. Many of them are over 30 years. And apart from that, the issue of the drivers and the key issue we are having concerning these tankers has to do with the non-compliance with the minimum safety standards in terms of loadings at the depot. About a series of engagement with NNPC and DPR, and this week alone we've also had a series of meetings. It has to do, if you observe all those tankers, if the minimum safety standards have been complied, especially the safety valve, a tanker can fall, but it's not supposed to spill, and a crane will have just lifted it up. But because the owners have not complied with the standards, and that this is something DPR have just sorted out with the presidential approval of the recommendations that all tankers loading at the depot now must have the safety valve. So, and we've also given directives to our personnel at the various tank farms that if they don't have safety valve, they must not load. This is going to be strictly enforced. A tanker can fall, a truck can fall, but if a tanker has a safety valve, I think this can be averted, and it's unfortunate. Then we're also battling with the age of these vehicles. 90% of these articulated vehicles are over 30 years. So most of these cases has to do with the brake failure. Then we go to the axle load violation. This is one area the Honorable Minister has been battling with. As per the standard organization of Nigeria standard, a tanker is not supposed to carry more than 45,000 liters. But you see a tanker conveying about 60,000, 75, even we are told some 99,000. And part of the recent decisions is that, well, they should not carry more than 45,000. And you can see what the Niger State governor did by saying that the minimum safety standards must be complied with, especially the axle load, that no tanker more than 45,000 must be allowed to pass through the state because of the damage being done to the road. Government is making efforts to fix the road, but the axle load violation is contributing more to the damage on the road. Is a worrisome dimension that government also is really worried. And the age of the drivers too are driving under the influence of drugs and alcohol. This is one area we have been battling with. I think of recent, it's just an upsurge. We are battling with the lawless tanker drivers, despite all the trainings being given to them by the NUPENG PTD. But it's something that we have sorted out now. I think with all these issues and the government directive, we should be able to get this as we are moving towards the end of the year. We have observed with the ember months, there's increase in vehicular density already, and also the movement of petroleum products to the other parts of the country. So all hands are on deck now to be able to tackle this. We've engaged NUPENG and the depots to ensure that if you don't have the safety valve, then they will not allow you to load, because that's the key issue. Then the other safety precautions must be taken into consideration.
All right, we'll talk about what you are going to do to forestall occurrences. Now, for the avoidance of doubt, Co-Marshal, let's break it down. Safety valve, what are you referring to?
You see, it's like a bottle. If you have a bottle and the bottle has a cork, if it's properly fitted and it falls down, it will not spill water. But if the cork is not there, it's not properly fitted, and the bottle falls down, it will spill water. So, and in developed countries too, a tanker do fall once in a while, but it does not spill the products because the safety valve and other safety ingredients are in place. So the fundamental problem with these tankers is not adherence to the minimum safety standard. That is the key issue. And once we can get this right, a tanker falls, like other articulated vehicles, a crane comes and lifts it up and is towed away. Those are the things. So is the key issue is not compliance to the minimum safety standard at the various depots. And that is why we've engaged DPR, who license all the downstream sectors, and they've agreed, they've put in all the things now to get this complied with. And I think I must commend DPR for this laudable gesture. And we see with the implementation, I think we see a new outlook now. Once we can have the safety valve and the other minimum safety standards complied with, I think that'll be solid. And one thing we have ordered for is the retraining and recertification of the drivers. The drivers need to be retrained. Many of them are aged. We conducted a test. 30% of these drivers failed the vision acuity test. Only will you see an articulated driver with glasses. Does that mean that all of them can see better than the younger ones? The answer is no. So they have poor vision, so this is contributing. Like the Lokoja issue could have been avoidable if the driver has been patient a little bit. 1, 2, if the safety valve is installed in the tanker. So even if it had fallen, it wouldn't have spilled. Then it fell, it was spilling. People attempted to scoop. That's why 25 people lost their lives. And with one Nigerians, when you have crashes involving articulated vehicles, keep off. But you see people running towards there. So that's a serious dimension. If you look at all the reports, all the cases is because when it spills, the tanker falls and it spills the product, the train, it goes all over, burn the houses, the vehicles, like the case of Lokoja, 15 vehicles were involved, and we are still counting. It's an unfortunate incident, but I think we are taking decisive action, and I want to assure Nigerians that with other stakeholders, NUPENG PTD has admitted these challenges, and they've given us their words. We've also spoken to DPR, excellent discussion, and NNPC too. We've all agreed on all this. I think we're on course this time around. Because this is the first time all the stakeholders we agree to all what we have been saying, that need to implement all these pending recommendations, especially the compliance with the minimum safety standards.
All right, we're discussing with the Co-Marshal, Federal Road Safety Corps, Boboye Oyemi. Of course, you're watching the Weekend File. We go on another break now. More discussion and reports right after that.
Rest of life. Rest of the next life. Rest of the life of the next life. Una. Arrange your voice, more cash now.
Hola. Shift. Mind yourself. Social distancing, please.
We observe social distance in this house.
Social distance.
Do what you've never done before. Find your first with the best data deals in town. Dial *777#. Glow Unlimited.
Sensitivity is a short, sharp pain that people experience when they have something hot or cold getting to the nerve of the tooth. If the sensitivity is left alone, it may get worse. Dentists recommend Sensodyne. It's able to calm the nerve of the tooth. The proof's in the results. It works. Sensitivity is a short, sharp pain that people experience when they have something hot or cold getting to the nerve of the tooth. If the sensitivity is left alone, it may get worse. Dentists recommend Sensodyne. It's able to calm the nerve of the tooth. The proof's in the results. It works.
Son, being good at something requires strength. It requires putting in more. That's why the new improved Bonvita is packed with vitality and a richer, creamier taste.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you in your living room, office, everywhere and anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview UK channel 264, or you can download www.visiontv.co.uk. App for iOS or Android, Intelsat 901 degree east. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Welcome back. Due to the strategic location of Onitsha as the foremost commercial city in Nigeria, it has been the scene of several fuel tanker explosions in the past few years, destroying lives and livelihood of city dwellers. The prevalence of this situation takes Ekene Ndulue across the state, where he seeks to find answers to how future occurrences could be averted.
Over the years, the prevalence of fuel tanker explosion in Nigeria has been alarming, thereby bringing the need for safety measures against this man-made disaster. Onitsha, the commercial hub of Anambra State, is no stranger to these disasters, as between January 2019 to date, it has recorded several cases leading to destruction of lives and property running into billions of naira. Prominent among these cases are the Ochanja and Omaba fuel tanker explosions. Experts believe that these accidents are man-made and are caused by several factors, including overspeeding, state of vehicles, and inadequate monitoring by relevant bodies.
The tanks supposed to have what they call this foreign manifold, both up and down, so that in case we have a tanker falling, there won't be any spillage.
Those trucks who have been safety-wise checked are not the ones that even transfer these things. Along the road, some of them transfer to, or some other ones will buy from them. And those ones that are buying from them, the drivers are not checked. The safety of their vehicles are not ascertained.
The Anambra State Command of the Federal Road Safety Corps says it is already employing a threefold strategy in the state to prevent future occurrences.
We conduct training for them, for the driver to be abreast of what is expected of them on the road.
Residents are advised to avoid the dangerous habit of scooping spillages from fallen fuel tankers, while drivers are further enjoined to obey all traffic rules in Onitsha. Ekene Ndulue, NTA News.
Rivers State has had its own negative share of fuel tanker explosions in the past, with the latest recorded at Sa Benwa along the east-west road. Concerned stakeholders identified overspeeding, poor knowledge of traffic signs, absence of training as causative factors and called for proactive actions from relevant government agencies towards stemming the tide. Kingsley Amajiri reports.
The LR incident last Sunday at Sapewa Junction left behind this wreckage from a petroleum tanker conveying products. Men of the Federal Road Safety Corps who witnessed the sad incident confirmed the death of one of the occupants, leaving 3 hospitalized.
The fuel tanker that was loaded with petrol, when they were negotiating the roundabout, and because the driver came with speed, they couldn't negotiate well, and the tanker fell on the other side and immediately caught fire.
That this accident happened at a T-junction raises concern on the need to erect visible road signs to aid motorists navigate the roads. But how knowledgeable are the motorists on traffic signs?
Education to Rumokro, you hardly you see traffic signs. Even at George Road, Warfare Road, you don't see traffic signs.
Out of 100%, we have 130 or 20% of drivers who can be able to tell you about the road signs. The road safety will have to come up some more to really ensure that these people who drive these heavy-duty trucks are checked and rechecked again so that they will certify them as roadworthy in terms of their mentality and what have you.
Concerned stakeholders want the authorities to step up actions, not only on educating the motoring public, but also penalizing offenders towards bringing sanity and safety on the roads. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
We're discussing tanker explosion disasters, precautions and safety in Nigeria. And of course, our guest is still here, the Co-Marshal Federal Safety Corps, Boboye Oyeyemi. You mentioned earlier about some very important areas in the line of our discussion. One, the old tankers and the old drivers, some of whom locally people may refer to as the experienced ones. Now, there are also some very young ones who may not even understand what roadworthiness and driving is all about. They're all part of those plying, roads with these very big trucks, so to speak. And now that's where training and retraining comes in. The question on our lips is, we don't want more of these things to happen. Where are we going next to ensure that these things are kept in the board?
Well, I think you're talking about the way forward. The first thing is for the various depots to comply with the minimum safety standards. That's the first thing. If that is done, fine. Then also for the state government to also improve on the vehicle inspection system. This is a road tax within the purview of the states.
Okay.
Most of these trucks are not roadworthy. It's not FRSC that inspect vehicles. These are the responsibility of the vehicle inspection officers. The state government needs to provide adequate tools to the VIOs to do their primary responsibilities. All these trucks with no headlamps, with no rear lights, and yet they have valid roadworthiness is a major problem. Then the attitude of the vehicle owners too, they should step up maintenance of these vehicles, because if you look at all these crashes, most of them were as a result of brake failures. And at night, you just pray well. If you are not careful, you can be a victim, because some of them don't have a proper headlamp. So you even think is a motorcycle coming in a different direction. And retraining, continuous retraining, and some of them are not fit. Like I said, you check the health status of some of these drivers. They need to have been retired. So there's need, like you mentioned earlier on, there's need for a graduation of the new intakes and proper training. And again, we talk about the vehicle standards. Most of these vehicles, trucks, are not designed for the purpose that is being used for. Remember the $10 crash that happened in 2018, in which 55 vehicles were burnt and 12 lives were lost. That truck, the truck head, was not designed to pull a 60,000 liters petroleum product. It was designed for oil rig. And when you now bring also shades of articulated vehicles into the country, and you now convert them to be used for a purpose not meant for, this is what, and we've recommended to the government the years, the age of vehicles that should come in should not be more than 10 years, and it should be phased in such a way that within the next 5 years, the maximum age should be 5 years. We need to sanitize our road system in respect of this. We are having challenges, and most of this is because most of these trucks are already 15, 20 years old before being brought, 25 before being brought into the country, and that is one of the challenges. Then if we do that, then the absolute violations needs to be addressed. The roads are getting damaged as the roads are being fixed, and the issue of retroreflective tapes, the standards and the color coding on these vehicles, and lane violations is another issue with these articulate drivers, and they are violent. I must tell you, they are very violent on the road. Any small thing, the act of lawlessness of blocking the road at all times. Once an incident happens, the next thing, the road is blocked. Even when we tow the vehicles, we ask them to pay. They will tell you that this is the government bought this vehicle, it's a government vehicle. They were not ready to pay fines. They're not ready to pay for towing charges. So it's a kind, I don't want to say a kind of lawless acts of the drivers, but some of them are really lawless and they're violent. So we need to address the true attitudinal changes, reorientation of these drivers is very critical, because, and also to control the issue of the speed limiting device, which Mr. President, that's one of the things Mr. President first approved and directed in 2016. We must ensure that all of them under the Road Transport Safety Standardization Scheme, that speed limiting devices installed. There's no going back. It's part of what the DPR has also put on the table now, which must be fully implemented. So with DPR now directing that all the tankers going to load at the depot must have the safety valves, must have the speed limiting device installed, and also the other minimum safety standards on headlamps and co. And the driver's license of the driver must be certified. I think we see a new era with the DPR now really taking control, because that's their responsibility. I believe with all these approvals given already for implementation by Mr. President through the SGF, we're on course.
I think it's good enough that we can deduce that these incidences are highly preventable.
Yeah, you're right.
Highly preventable.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going into the ember months. And in fact, by December, it will be the end of the year. We are in September at the moment, and so we are also agitated in a way because these things, I don't know, these things are happening, and the roads will be very busy anytime from October until the end of the year. What about patrol operations?
First, let me advise Nigerians. We must appreciate the efforts of government. The roads are under major rehabilitation. Nigerians must plan their journeys because they will spend more time. The number two, we've had our own session, strategy session. We are deploying all our vehicles on the road, and we are getting, with the procurement going on, we are getting more vehicles, more ambulances, more recovery vehicles to complement what is on ground. I think from the experience of last year, of 2019/2020, end of the year patrol, I think we've taken a cue from the gaps there. And we're working with the Nigerian police, the civil defense, the Department of State Services. We're getting maximum support from them. I want to assure Nigerians we continue to improve on our services. But again, the issue of driving under the influence of drugs and alcohol gives us concern too, because we test drivers now, we see them still under the influence of drugs. That is also one of the major causative factors in road traffic crashes. We address these. And we have 201 mobile courts. I think with the post-COVID-19, things are getting better. The mobile courts too will be fully operational. But I want to assure Nigerians that we make sure that we hit the target in reducing traffic crashes by 15%.
All right, finally, before you go, when your officers who are everywhere in this nation confront some of these challenges, the punishments, or should I say, on the other side, do they really get to the end of the matter, as in making sure that you get punished for your offenses?
The major problem on ground now is that the fines are too low.
What?
The fines.
Okay.
It does not serve as deterrent. So I think we still go back to the National Assembly, because like the use of phone while driving is 4,000. The man will abuse you, bring out his ATM card and pay. Even if you go to a mobile court, sometimes they just ask them to pay 2,000. And that's why when we commence the enforcement on these, the issue of flatbed trailers, we made use of the Lagos state laws. The penalty is to 50,000. It serves as deterrence. Now, you can see gradual improvement on this your flatbed trailers. The containers are being latched gradually now. The frequency has reduced. It's because we are using the Lagos State traffic laws. I want the minimum fines to be 50,000 so that it can serve as deterrence. And also we criminalize all these road traffic offenses. People need to pay. When you pay through your nose, you will not do it again. But when you pay 4,000 for use of phone, or you pay 3,000 for other offenses, you still go back and do the same. So it's the deterrence that we're talking about. The punishment must be heavy so that you don't get back to do the same thing again. And that is where we are talking about. But we still appreciate the mobile courts. At least once you get convicted, it goes into your record. We use that to update the offenders register, and we can use it against you in future.
Always a media delight. Boboye Oyemi, Co-Marshal, Federal Safety Corps. Thank you for coming on Weekend File.
Thank you.
Let's go on a final break. We will be back to conclude Weekend File. Thanks for staying. You're still watching Weekend File on the NTA. Let's now join Olumide Guntola on Sports Update.
The newly